If I was to be openly honest right now, I don't think I like myself too much. I think there are many aspects that I take pride in myself, about honesty and this realization to be that radically honest with yourself as a first crucial step to having that humility, having that awareness or need in life to go inwards and really identify who the hell you are and be at peace with that and start to love yourself. When people say, oh, you gotta love yourself, we take that in our minds, but we don't actually know how to apply that. It's like some kind of paradox that we're not really unfamiliar with. How do you love yourself? It's just a phrase, isn't it? It's just a figure of speech. But no, I think it's really important to actually love yourself. It's not just a throwaway comment. And I think I'm only just realizing, oh shit, yeah, this is super important, isn't it? Because it might be the difference between if you fail to love yourself enough, then you might start failing yourself. And when you start failing yourself too much, then you face oblivion. And I think these truths are not openly spoken. Only in extreme cases when it's gone too far already. And they've just given up. And as a last goodbye, they just say, oh, by the way, this is what I was going through. Or not, or they might just disappear without a trace, without notice. I'm talking, of course, about the ego. And because people are so at one and completely enthralled in their ego experience, then the tragedies that I alluded to might be physical, not just the kind of self-awareness life, if that makes sense to you. I've been struggling, and I've been struggling with truth and being completely honest with myself. And as part of my struggle, I've been hiding the facts that I haven't been doing well financially, and even saying that, I'm just immediately like, delete this recording immediately. I've been on universal credit for way too long. It's been like a couple years or something, maybe more. I'm kind of in denial about it. I conveniently don't think about it. But it's a fact. And it makes me objectively somewhat of a loser. And those are notions that are kind of true. If you were to do a very quick survey and ask people, hey, if someone's on benefits for a couple years and they don't show any sign of wanting to get back into the permanent employment force, they do, however, want to make something of themselves in the freelance line of work, because that's all they've known, that's all they've done, and they will continue to try and make something happen, become successful. So, good luck to them. But still, they're just a waste if they don't actually make anything happen. And so, time's getting on. I'm getting fed up. I'm facing truths that I have stories I've told myself. Very personal, vulnerable stories of insecurity. Reasons to believe that I am a bit of a waste man. I think part of mental health is talking to a therapist about this kind of stuff. But is that really, is that the only place that you can feel potentially get to that space where you feel like you can really speak your truths, the hidden secrets? Because if they are in you, secrets that are uncomfortable or just inconvenient, it doesn't matter. They're there and they're truths, and you know they are, but you are in denial and you hide them away. And then you say to yourself, okay, well, I can't be in denial if I know and, would confirm their existence. It's just, if you're the only one who's aware of them, who suffers them, no one else does, then you're the only one who you're damaging. But somehow it feels more comfortable, more convenient, more tolerable to carry all of these burdens of truths, burdens of a reality that you don't want to face, a truth that you don't want to face. Nothing is black and white. Why is it that we're so invested in only getting the good stuff and even neglecting or pushing away and suppressing the bad stuff? It's so imbalanced. So I think it's a healthy process to find whatever release you can. Obviously everyone strongly advocates therapy, talking therapy, psychological help. Talk to friends, talk to family, talk to yourself. Talk out loud to a camera while you're walking around. People passing by, they can hear you. They hear glimpses of, oh, that feels deep. And it is. And I think we should be more open as a society to allow people to speak their truths. It's so simple and yet so difficult. Why? It's not the done thing. It's not appropriate. I thought we left proprietary a long time ago. We still have to be civilized in a certain extent, but if you don't allow enough outlets for just truthful expression, I am suffering. I have been suffering. It's not so much a call for help. I'm not wanting attention. I'm wanting remedy. I consider myself smart, but in a growing number of people that I spend my company with, I feel like I'm so dumb. I'm such a moron. Because I know all the time, it doesn't matter what conversation we're talking about, I know all the time that I speak shit because I'm hiding truths. I don't know, I'm just so avoidant of the inconveniences, of the reality that I'm a loser in some aspects and a brilliant marvel in some other. I'm sorry, but I've been focusing on the negative they are truths. It's good to focus on the positive too. I know that philosophy, and I know that does work from time to time. But that's not to actually always keep running away from the dark and running into the light no matter. Chasing that high. Hopefully if you go too far into the light, then, far enough, then the dark won't be an issue anymore. Hopefully. That sounds nice. I don't want to run away from my problems. I don't think as a society we should be taking that approach either. It's all quite fearful, and it doesn't solve anything. It usually makes things worse, more complicated. People pass the buck. Ego shit. I want to completely flip the script. It's a cold, crisp morning, and I haven't been out in the morning for a long time, and it feels pretty freaking good. And this voice note is cathartic. I don't know in a practical sense what difference it will make, but something makes me feel like I need more honesty in my life, and I need to actually express it out loud, because I've been suppressing it. I've been suppressing so much. And this is just for myself. But since it's so like that moment when you are starting to shed your armor, and you're starting to put down your arms, and you're starting to just become more vulnerable. It's that space. And I think a lot of people need to feel what it feels like to maybe get themselves into that space. I think everyone needs it. And although people and myself might be fearful of the public reception, if recordings like this were made public, and their social circles, their colleagues, their friends, their family, they'll be afraid of their reaction, afraid of their judgment. To lay bare your truths out in the open public, it's so frightening. And it shouldn't be. The truth should never be that cripplingly frightening that we would do anything but make ourselves vulnerable in society. That's crazy. But that is. And I think it requires a radical shift. It's good to combine small steps, but with a radical shift. You know, you flip the script, you do something completely bold, completely brave, completely pure and honest from yourself. If it's that of chaos, make sure that you do it in a way that is for pro-life and not against life. Pro-peace and not against peace. But I hope that if people have their truthful unveilings, releases, like you just relax every muscle in your body and take the biggest exhale out, and you just release whatever you've been carrying. I want that for myself. And if other people can't tell me what to do, but I can, then maybe this is what it's all about. I'm trying to tell myself what to do. I'm trying to guide myself from a higher plane, from a wider perspective. I don't know what to do from here. I've been feeling very lost and broken, and I've been keeping myself afloat with general moments of happiness, dancing, food, conversation, telling myself it's going to be okay, telling myself that I'm brilliant and that I am very creative and that I can do whatever I put my mind to. The thing is, those things are they're just words. They're words that have turned into beliefs. And they're words that come from other people very early on in my life. And they have been instilled in me, in my ego. And my ego says, yeah, I'm amazing. I can do whatever I want. And to some parts, that's been quite true. I've been very gifted physically in learning things like gymnastics and football and basketball, and whatever I play, I enjoy. And then whatever I enjoy and play and frequent, then I just naturally get better at, because I love them. I'm obsessed. Anything that you become obsessive about, it's a good sign that you like it, at least. And if you just continue, then boom, 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 it will just escalate and you'll excel. So I'm aware that I have that capability with certain things, especially physical cognition. But when it comes to business, when it comes to freelance, having to manage everything, there's no support, there's no team. You need professionals in different fields, and that usually comes from a complete different person. I know my personality color is yellow. I've been told that my aura is yellow. I'm that archetype. I'm the dreamer, I'm the thinker, I'm the creative inspiration, I'm the medium, I'm the artist. And I can conjure up amazing ideas, and they can feel so real in my mind and in my heart, and I believe in it so much. And it's not just imagination. It just feels way more real. It feels like we can be a conduit to manifesting something from somewhere that's inexplicably achievable. It's achievable and it is comprehensible. We can manifest it if we attune to it. It feels like that. Whereas before, I wasn't able to put it in such words, and these words and terminologies, they'll become more clear as I go along. And I know I keep derailing, but this is how yellows speak. And I know about other personality colours, that people's strengths in soaking up knowledge, retaining that through brilliant memory, being able to be so cerebral that they can just make shit happen, you know, whether they use a computer or whether they're delegating other people, they're project managing. And if they're able to manage themselves, get all their admin done, set deadlines, set timelines, find out the most efficient way of doing things, the grit and determination to push through the early mornings and the late nights, the resilience to just go, this is the grind, and I will lean into it, and I'll become so efficient, and then I'll use this free time to do what I want. I think people who are able to manage themselves and the people around them and have kids and manage them, I think they're just so powerful. Those superpowers are manifested in their archetype, their character archetype, and then it usually befits certain roles within society, within the business world. People who are able to make stuff happen. They can take someone else's idea and they can make it happen. They can connect all the things together and manifest it in the physical space. I am not working very well in that physical space. In the actual physically manifesting, the production side. I'm in the creative side. I'm in the conceptual side. I can dream and have the initial inspiration come through, and I can communicate it, and I can illustrate it, and I can, document it somehow. But then from that point, from that point of documenting the idea, then it all goes tits up for me. And that's just part 2, never mind even part 3, which I don't even know of. I guess marketing, scaling, something like that. I do still have a brain. I'm not completely unable to do any of these things. It's just I suck and I resist it so much. It's not my archetype, and I struggle so much. And as a freelancer, tough tits. You signed up to the struggle. So then why the hell do I freelance? Why do I freelance when I struggle so much at the 2 other keystones of what makes any business successful? You need the artist or product provider, service provider. That's me. And then you need the person who's good at the books, the bookkeeping, the numbers. They do the accounting. And then you've got the people person. The people person is in the marketing as well, and as well as the promotion and the sales. I mean, you can divide all of these keystones up into further parts, of course. But I'm not so much the people person. I'm not the salesperson. I don't sell myself. I cringe at that thought. I'm trying to move more away from my ego and watch it from afar rather than it dominate my life and my responses. I cringe away from compliments. That's an ego thing. We haven't trained ourselves as a society to acknowledge all of these things and start changing our language, changing our conversational approach. Instead of a compliment, it could be a word of appreciation, a word of acknowledgement, just a quick nod to say, I respect that, I noticed that, I notice you, just I see you, from a film or something that I've seen. I see you. Is that Avatar? It's nice. That's more meaningful, that's more authentic. I digress. I don't know why I went on that tangent. I've got to breathe. I'm not very good at the other aspects of business. I never have been. I can do minute tasks if assigned to me, but if I have to think for myself how to structure all of this, how to get good at the business side, then I've got to admit I need help. And if I'm not going to go seek help, and if I don't receive help somehow, then I've got to change my course. And I'm so resistant to that. Change my course means that I failed. I failed to create the dreams that I've wanted. I failed as an ego, as myself. The stories that I've told, the capabilities, the potential. I know people hate this word, and I'm starting to hate it as well, because I'm starting to hate myself. I've always felt that I'm so full of potential. I've been told I'm full of potential. But evidently not. It's tough growing up without proper role models, without proper guidance, without proper healing. If we're all just running away from our truths, suppressing our hurt, not expressing in what shapes and forms we suffer in microdoses every day. There's a lot there. There's a lot to unpick. And I guess people just run away from that reality too. There's just so much. So where do you even begin? I think we need more time to ourselves. I've had so much time to myself. I've not pursued relationships. I've not pursued success. I've not pursued much. Although I expect the world for myself. I'm an imposter. It's not imposter syndrome, I don't think. Not in the conventional way. Because it's not coming from a place of once I faked myself in to a position, then I feel like I'm an imposter, I don't belong. It's not from I don't know where it's from. But I feel like the stories I've been telling myself, and that have been told to me, and that I've believed, and that my ego is comprised of all of these stories. I'm coming to realization that, yeah, you know what? I've got to be honest with myself. The evidence says otherwise. And that's a truth. The evidence says otherwise. If the past doesn't really matter because we can't control it, and if we want to be productive, if we want to know what the next steps are, it's only in the now. You can plan so much into the future, but if I'm weighed down by the thoughts, by the stories that are false, stories of the future are always false because the future doesn't exist yet. We hang on to that yet. I think we live so much in that yet. We give it so much gravity. It's so important. It's so beyond our reach, but we feel like we can grab it. And some people get really good, and they do feel like they're always manifesting their future in front of them. And they pat themselves on the back. Good. I'm glad you can do it that way, through willful, conscious efforts. I'm struggling with that.